summer, and quite frankly, I was making a little bit more than you.
I don't know. $2 an hour. I had to get the job, and it was. I established myself as the world's worst car salesman. Start with, and then I had no job. Then I had to get working, so I did take up painting houses and stuff like that. I had to keep working, and luckily I got hired by Ridge Construction, which is like a part of Kodak. And I met my good friend, Righty Smith, and I thought if I didn't get let go, I'd still be working on construction. So, yeah, you and I were painters at the same time.
We may have been on the same job somewhere.
Well, I don't think so. You were making a lot more money than I was.
Not a lot. I was a student in those days. My dad paid me a fair wage, let's put it that way. Don, like I said, things didn't come easy for you. You know, you got the job with the Rochester Americans in 71, 72, and lo and behold, you know, you make it up to the Bruins, and you're coaching the greatest hockey player in history.
Absolutely.
Tell us how you moved, how that all came about.
Well, I remember I was in Montreal, and I got made coach, and I phoned my son, and he said, "Does that mean I can go to meet Bobby Orr?" And I said, "Yeah, me too." So I was just as happy. He was the greatest. I did to every camp. I've been to every training camp. I'd seen them all. I'd seen all the stars. I'm not going to name them all, but I'd been at the camp, and they were good. Don't get me wrong. But the first time I saw Bobby Orr, I mean, I couldn't believe it in person. I'd seen him on television. But when I remember I was playing for Rochester, and we were playing that night against the Boston Braves, and I remember we went to a morning skate, and the Boston Bruins were just practicing, and they were just fooling around. They were going to leave in the afternoon about 4 o'clock, and I remember the first time I saw Bobby Orr, I couldn't believe it. He skated. The nearest I can say is the nearest I ever saw anybody skate like him was Coffey. And if you notice that Coffey, when he played, the reason he lasted so long is that he used to go to the outside, which was smart. But Bobby, he used to cut in the inside, and you know, that's when you get nailed. And no, he only played till he was 28 years old, which is, you know, that's when defensemen start coming into their own at 28. If you look at Potvin and all those guys when they're about 26, 20, you know, 25, that's when they really turn it on. And he had to retire at 28 years old. It breaks your heart to think what he might have been, but that's the way he played. And he played reckless, and you know, he plays like McDavid does now, so reckless. And you know, when you play like that, you open yourself up to injuries, and you know, and if you've seen, McDavid has been injured a couple of times trying to cut in and stuff like that. But that's the way they play, and you can't tell them not to play that way.
You know, he was a great player. He was so far ahead of the next best player. It was scary. Like in the Gretzky and Lemieux era, they were close to each other. There was nobody close to Bobby Orr. And
you know, it's funny you see that. The year he played for me, believe it or not, I know there's a lot of people listening, young defensemen listening. He was a defenseman, and he got 46 goals and 89 assists, and he was plus 100.3. I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, I didn't coach him. I just opened and closed the door and just let him go. But he was fantastic, and I remember I used to say, if you have the puck, Bobby has the puck, I said, don't go offside. He thought it was funny. I really meant it. And don't go offside. And but you imagine that 46 goals, 89 assists, plus 123. And the big thing is, too, he had 200 minutes of penalties. He was no cream puff. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody that's playing today or anything, but I mean, can you imagine I think he had about 5 fights that year, and he didn't have anybody to protect him. He didn't need it. He didn't want it, and he was tough, and